Yo, what's up, guys? Today we're going to react into Film Theory, The Giant Monster Hindsight, Shang-Chi trailer. Now, this is a Film Theory episode, so I haven't uploaded in a week. I've been working on a lot of stuff. So, yeah, I couldn't really have time. I'm probably going to go back to... I might do a video every 2 days. I'm probably going to try to do that. I want to upload way more than I can. But, Sony TV, and I'm wearing Sony headphones. These are actually very nice. But anyway, let's just get right into the video. Let's begin. No, I've seen the trailer. It's pretty good. I might watch it, but so let's just get right into it.
Wow, that Shang-Chi trailer looks really cool. After conquering almost every other action movie genre, Marvel is finally doing martial arts. What a great idea. Wonder why they didn't try this before.
Oh.
I mean, feels so obvious, right? Ninjas and stances and
Yes.
secret moves. Wire work and dojo.
Hold up.
Wire
I'm just gonna ignore that.
dojos. So weird that they have never once tried to do this before. Yep, very first time. Hope it goes well for him.
That was very awkward. Fight scenes without the music are very awkward.
Hello, Internet.
They are.
Welcome to Film Theory, the show that wants to challenge your smash style against our fist of the subscribe button. That's my overly elaborate way of saying subscribe to this channel. You know,
Okay.
Marvel's upcoming Shang-Chi, or as
And I've cat fur all over me.
Puts it,
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
So, Shang-Chi is the pronunciation I'm going to be rolling with today. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is a lot more than just the MCU's sincere apology for the existence of Iron Fist.
I thought the Iron Fist was a great warrior. You fight like a child throwing a tantrum.
Review of that show in a nutshell. It's also the first
Never
MCU
even heard
release
of it.
to feature new characters since Captain Marvel nearly 2.5 years ago. And before that, it was Black Panther 3 years ago. Just saying, it has been a long time since we've seen some new faces in this franchise. It'll
So it's
also
nice.
give Big Mickey's the latest shot at getting a foothold in the ever-expanding Chinese box office, while also serving as a much-needed Asian representation in this universe. So yeah, a lot is gonna be riding on this one.
He's variation.
But in addition to all that other stuff, the reason I'm talking about
Okay,
here today
I'll
on the
shut
channel
up.
is that it's
I'll just
also
watch the
a big
video.
mystery. You see,
Yes,
Shang-Chi
big
is a
mystery.
fairly obscure character whose backstory, front story, and really his entire thing absolutely needed a full rebuild for this movie released in the more culturally sensitive times of 2021. And considering
Okay.
that Disney has everything locked down tighter than Scrooge McDuck's Bitcoin password, we don't know
Bitcoin?
anything about the actual story of this movie.
It's-
or do
it's
we? That's right,
duck.
Internet. Theory
1, 2,
Master
3.
MatPat is skipping your instruction all the way ahead to the 36th chamber and cracking the biggest secrets of the first MCU Kung
Who's
Fu
that guy?
movie. Today
I'm gonna put on screen. I watched some of his videos before. He's funny. That guy, it's like the tiger kung fu stuff.
I'm here to
Like
predict
catching a
Shang-Chi
bullet.
4 months before it's actually released, what it's probably about, who these people
No,
are,
no.
why it's really called the Ten Rings, where those rings
Yes.
actually come from, and how I predict Marvel has a giant kaiju-sized surprise waiting in the wings at the end
Okay,
of all
okay.
that kicking. Godzilla, get ready to eat your heart out. And considering the winning streak we've been on lately when it comes to Marvel theories, putting the spoiler warning right in the air. First things
Whoa,
first,
whoa,
who is
okay.
Shang-Chi? Well, in the 1970s, Chinese kung fu films exploded into a big pop culture fad, thanks
Yes.
in part to two converging forces. The first was the absolute mega success of Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. The second was independent movie theaters opting to screen Chinese action films because they were relatively cheap, especially when you compared them to Hollywood blockbusters. Those
Okay.
two waves combined to create a young, hip audience for the genre. And Marvel Comics, working under the motto of "we also enjoy money," wanted their own martial arts themed superhero. They started by trying to get the rights to Kung Fu, a TV series that was airing at the time. But when Warner Brothers said no, they had to make up their own guy, and thus Shang-Chi was born. He's a Chinese master of innumerable
Exactly.
hand-to-hand fighting and weapon styles, so
Okay.
skilled that his abilities border on the supernatural. But as far as Marvel heroes go, he's actually pretty normal. He's a kung fu
Okay.
guy, and he mostly does kung fu things. So what's he gonna be doing
Okay.
in this movie? Well, according to Toy Leaks, yes, Toy Leaks, we can get a good sense.
That is true. I've seen it happen before. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah. I found out about the Mechagodzilla not because of the trailer, because there was a toy leak online about the Mechagodzilla toy. So I already knew what it was going to look like from the start, like once the trailer popped out, since, yeah.
Of what's actually going to be going on here.
And
As
t-shirts.
you might expect, involves Shang-Chi working to take down the crime syndicate and terrorist organization, the Ten Rings, a group that's been kicking around in the MCU's background since the first Iron Man.
They speak Arabic, Urdu, Dari, Pashto, Mongolian, Farsi, Russian.
Who are these people?
They call themselves the Ten Rings.
Their ranks include martial artists like Death Dealer and Razor Fist, along with Shang-Chi's sister Zhai Ling, with whom his relationship is complicated, to say the least. But the real
My
big
laser
reason
hand.
fans who know their comics lore did about
Slap
5
you.
spit takes when they heard the Ten Rings part of the title is that Shang-Chi has himself some major daddy issues, like most of the superheroes in the MCU. And
Yes,
in this version,
course.
that daddy's name is gonna be the Mandarin.
Did you know that fortune cookies aren't even Chinese? They're made by Americans based on a Japanese recipe. Hey,
Bloody hell.
No,
Bloody
not
hell.
him, but also, yes, kinda him. Now, the Mandarin is a long-beloved bad guy to a few generations of Marvel comic fans. He was basically Iron Man's on-again, off-again main nemesis in the comics for a lot of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But as cultural awareness has evolved over time, he's become increasingly problematic. There's just no getting around the fact that he mainly came into being as a pretty iffy Chinese villain stereotype during the era when Iron Man was Marvel's de facto anti-communist superhero, and most of his enemies were just stand-ins for either Soviet or Chinese communist threats. Very, very stereotypical stand-ins. That's why the various Iron Man adaptations over the years have tried to find ways to work around the problematic parts of the character, while still getting him in there somehow, in some form. The 90s Iron Man cartoon gave him green skin and downplayed the exaggerated Orientalism of his aesthetic.
Sayonara, Asia. Good day, Australia. They're dropping like flies.
And Iron Man 3 infamously reimagined the character even more radically as a globalized amalgam of hyped-up foreign threats to the US, who turns out just to be a made-up marketing illusion.
My name's Trevor Slattery.
What are you?
I'm an actor. Just a role. The Mandarin, see, it's not real.
And the real Mandarin was, well, he was an evil weapons tycoon who also had fire powers?
Yes.
Me don't right from the start.
I am the Mandarin!
It's a weird call on multiple levels.
That was
Some
weird,
people
but
loved the
okay.
twist, but others really didn't. And so Marvel split the difference with a follow-up that I predict not many of you, not even the hardest of hardcore Marvelites have watched. Marvel one-shot All Hail the King, a 2014 American short film released direct-to-video as a part of Thor: The Dark World. Oh, that's it. That's why no one saw this thing.
Oh, it's the fan base. Kiss my rings.
The short film is indeed short. It's only 10 minutes, but it has some really
Okay.
awesome one-liners.
You're not capable of pulling that trigger, Mr. Slattery.
I'm an out-of-work actor, love. You've no idea what I'm capable of. And thanks to the CBS network, I'm pretty good with a handgun.
As well as a special appearance from everyone's
CBS?
favorite arms dealer, Justin Hammer.
Tony and I. Tony's cool. Both brothers in arms, you know.
Okay,
We're
okay.
both arms dealers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Ominous
10.
cliffhanger implying a real Mandarin actually has existed this entire time.
But you took his name, and now he wants it back.
No, sorry. I still don't get it.
And after 7 long years, that Mandarin seems to finally be making his appearance in Shang-Chi.
Okay. No ads.
Enlisted is the free brand new online
Oh, is it?
shooter. Command a squad of
Enlisted
soldiers
is the
to
new
participate
online
in
multiplayer
legendary battles
shooter.
of the Second World War. Right now, the invasion
The
of
Second World War? Whoa, can I
So
get...
let's talk about him and the connection
Never
to
mind.
the movie. Remember how Marvel thought that they needed to license that Kung Fu show to sell a martial arts comic? Well, when they couldn't get that, they instead chose to license the publishing rights to a famous Chinese villain character. And then they wrote Shang-Chi's origin as that villain's rebellious good guy son. The character? The fiendish Dr. Fu Manchu. Not much better than the Mandarin. The recurring bad guy in the series of
Fu
and
Manchu.
in the early part of the 20th century, one of the most popular villain characters in all of fiction, a super intelligence with designs of taking over the world. Just an absurd amount of the supervillain tropes that we now take for granted in terms of secret layers, evil plots, henchmen, booby traps, mad science labs, torture chambers. All of it either originate or were largely popularized by this one guy. He was also an absurdly gross anti-Asian stereotype, as you can obviously tell. Either way, Marvel lost the rights to actually mention that Fu Manchu was Shang-Chi's father well before they ever felt obligated to be less less racist about their multiple evil Chinese science wizard characters. So now all of these events are coming together so that Wenwu, the true Mandarin, is filling the role of Shang-Chi's dad. So ultimately, the plot of this thing is good guy Shang-Chi rebelling against evil crime lord Wenwu dad, which brings us then to the 10 rings themselves. Now, in the comics, the Mandarin has historically worn 10 rings of power that each grant a different super ability.
Okay.
Ice, fire, electricity, vortex, aka wind, white light, black light, which you never want to use in a motel room, psychic, impact beam, disintegration, and matter rearranger. Pretty much the Infinity Gauntlet
Okay.
again, but with some extra Captain Planety powers mixed in, because, you know, now there's a whole other hand they have to fill up. But in the trailer for Shang-Chi, they don't appear to be rings, rather they appear to be metal bands worn around the
Okay.
villain's arms. And this is supported by the toy leaks, where we see Wenwu showing off the rings wrapped around each of his forearms.
Okay.
Now, that is a pretty big change, but it's one that comes
Okay.
with a few logical explanations. Shang-Chi is a martial arts film grounded in the tradition of Chinese kung fu, and iron ring style is a thing in both the folklore and reality of Chinese martial
Okay.
arts. Southern Shaolin masters who practice rooted stances like horse style and the famous Hungar technique are known to use traditional training methods where heavy iron rings are worn on the arms for strength and muscle building, and to master the movement of
Okay.
physical force through the moving and
Yeah,
stopping of limbs.
I guess that
Now,
makes
earthbenders
sense.
like Toph and Avatar: The Last Airbender, well, their wide, low-to-the-ground stances are very much tied to traditional Hungar technique, and Chinese kung fu
Okay.
movies have often depicted Southern Shaolin and Hungar-associated folk heroes using combat versions of the rings as actual weapons in battle, like in the film
Okay.
Kung Fu Hustle. So, okay, not a huge leap to imagine the
Okay.
2021 live-action movie Mandarin's
Yeah.
10 Rings being adapted into something more like Hungar fighting rings. Though it does raise
Okay,
the
that's pretty
question,
cool.
if they're on his arms and not his fingers, don't they stop being rings and become the 10 bracelets? And sure,
Yes.
a line like that could easily be a tension-breaking quip a Marvel character could drop in the middle of a fight. Or, here's my big prediction for this one, friends, they're still rings, but they're not rings made for human fingers. What if they happen to be rings that were once
Ooh.
worn by a giant magic dragon? Oh, here we go. Matt Pat's gone off the deep end again. But hear me
Here
out,
we
you guys.
go.
What's something else the MCU hasn't gone and fully given us yet? A giant monster character. Sure, there have been a
Yes.
few giants here and there, the Frost Giants, most notably Surtur at the end of Thor Ragnarok, but overall a shocking lack of big, oversized creatures for these godlike characters to fight. And while
Yeah.
the other Marvel martial arts thing did a bunch of big talk about a dragon, they apparently couldn't afford to show it, ever. But Shang-Chi has both money and an excuse to have a giant dragon turn up. And not just because the only thing that you'll find more of in Chinese folklore than martial arts masters is dragons.
Yes.
See, there's a dragonish candidate sitting in the Marvel Comics canon who's tangled with Shang-Chi before and would fit the
Okay.
bill perfectly. And his name is Fin Fang Foom. You can't
Fin
make that
Fang
stuff
Foom.
up. Well, obviously you can. Someone clearly did at some point in history, but that's what we're going with. Originally created as part of Marvel's pre-superhero crazy stuff from space stories, Fin Fang Foom is a sort of humanoid-shaped dragon who's actually
Okay.
an alien visitor named a Makluan. Originating in the 60s and revived by Marvel writers in the 70s, pretty much
Yeah.
for the sole reason that his name is fun to say, Fin Fang Foom
Fin
has been
Fang Foom.
all over the place. So he's a dragon, kinda. So what? Well,
Yes.
what makes him a perfect fit to show up here in this movie, in this specific context, is that the comics origin of the Mandarin's rings usually frame them as not being magical or supernatural, but rather advanced alien technology that the man who'd later
Okay.
become the Mandarin found on an archaeological expedition in China. So what
Okay.
if Fin Fang Foom not only brings in
Fin
the
Fang
dragon
Foom?
element, but also happens to be the 10
Fin
Rings'
Fang Foo.
original
Say that
alien owner?
5 times.
Seems
Fin
like
Fang
I'm
Foo. Fin
stretching a
Fang
lot,
Foo.
right?
Fin
But
Fang
the
Foo.
clue that
Fin
brings
Fang
it all
Foo. Fin Fang
together
Foo.
is this. Remember those toy leaks I mentioned earlier? Both
Yeah.
the Funko Pop and Hasbro lines of toys feature a dragon named the Great Protector. Heck, even Lego has a dragon coming out of this movie somehow. And would you know it, 10
Fin Fang
fingers,
Foo.
5 on each hand. So yeah,
Okay,
I'm calling the shot here,
okay.
friends. Master Matt Pat predicts the Mandarin's big bicep-hugging 10 rings are actually the fancy finger decor of Fin Fang Foom, or some other giant dragon. And that
Okay.
using them will either summon, control, defeat, or maybe free the MCU's first kaiju-sized sentient monster, where the mandatory sky beam is gonna mark the spot. Then again, it is all just a theory. A film theory. And
Okay.
cut. Also subscribe to let me know how wrong I was when this movie eventually comes out.
Oh, it's a movie. I thought it was a show. I didn't even know that. I thought it was a show. I wasn't really. Yeah, because there's like I didn't watch it. I probably will watch it when I get Disney Plus again. But like I'm forgetting everything. Oh my gosh, I'm like the president. I'm gonna put it up when I edit this. So right now, boom. Oh, that one. Yeah, that thing. That show. Yeah, that because that came out and like the Mandalorian stuff. Actually, I don't think ever knows what the Mandalorian is. I mean, I hope so. But I was assuming this was a TV show. So yeah, if it's a movie, I'd more likely probably watch it. So I'll probably watch it when it comes out in the theaters. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some theaters are open. So I probably should have watched Godzilla vs King Kong in theaters. I don't even know if it's still open, but it's been like a month since it came out, so I probably wouldn't wait that long. But hope you guys enjoy this video. Sorry this video was so long. JK, I don't care. No, I'm joking. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch the movie. I like martial arts. They're pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. I will see you guys in the next video.